Hey, everybody, and welcome to True Crime Paranormal with the Psychic Sisters. This is Katie Weaver, and I'm here with my co-anchor, partner in crime, and sister, Kristi Brower. Hello.
Hello. Hey, everybody.
How's it
Case
going?
numero trace of the week.
That's right. It is
Pretty much
Wednesday.
what I remember from high school Spanish. So,
It's also hump day.
miércoles, Wednesday.
Wow, look at you
One other
go.
thing I remembered from high school Spanish. I don't know why that matters right now because it doesn't. But
Look,
it,
it is so damn hot that our brains are scrambled. We're doing the
oh
best
my
we can.
goodness, we really are.
Mm.
I
It's
mean,
so
WTF, America, right now. Whew.
It is 84 degrees in my house, and
Oh,
we can't even begin to be nice to each other up in here right now. Yeah.
that is terrible.
We had such a long night with the dogs last night. I finally had to put our little old Chihuahua Skippy on the floor
Oh
because
wow.
he would not quit licking Scott. Something about when it's 1,000 degrees outside and in the house, you don't really like a hot, wet, sticky Chihuahua tongue on your back.
That is agreed. True statement. True statement.
It caused enough contention. I finally had to make him sleep on the floor because, well, I couldn't take any more. But, oh, yeah.
Wow. I know this heat wave is super weird here for us.
Mm-hmm.
Mid-June is usually kind of rainy and cool and
Mm-hmm.
certainly not in the freaking 90s
Mm-hmm.
as it has been.
We went to Sonic for Diet Cherry limeades, and they were out of like everything.
It's a thing. It's a sonic
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Yeah, it is a Sonic thing, but it's a heat wave thing too. You know,
Yeah,
people are beating their door down for something cold.
for sure, for
Yeah.
sure.
Wow, we have a case today. This is a cold read that I am going to present to Kristi. Some of you guys may be familiar with this case. It is, after all, 47 years old.
Ooh,
This is the case of the Lady of the Dunes.
the Lady of the Dunes. Okay.
The Lady of the Dunes was a woman's body that was found in Cape Cod. So in
Okay.
1974, there was a girl that was playing with a neighborhood dog on the beach at Race Point Dunes. I think that was the
Okay.
beach at Race Point Dunes, and in
Mhm.
Massachusetts. And the dog ran barking towards something, so she went to check it out, kind of out in the brush, and it was a nude, disfigured body of a woman.
Oof. This
So,
picture by chance?
hmm,
Oh, I'm
yeah,
just showing pictures. Yeah.
yeah. So,
Yikes.
yes.
Oh.
So she was laying on a green towel, kind of on her face. The side of her head was completely crushed in. She had a fair amount of her teeth had been removed. Her
Mm.
hair was actually still pulled back in a ponytail. She has auburn colored hair. She had a horrible gash in her neck that had nearly fully decapitated her head.
Mm.
And she was missing her hands. Yeah. So
Yikes.
someone had gone to some pretty good lengths to try to prevent her from being identified through
Yeah,
fingerprints, dental records, things like that.
sure.
And also, her face was quite disfigured. And so, obviously, the authorities were called. This really rocked Cape Cod. There wasn't a lot of crime there at the time, and it was an extremely upsetting thing for both the girl who found her as well as the entire community.
Yeah.
So they've over the years they've reconstructed her face a bunch of times, trying to figure out who this poor girl is. She's actually they figured she's somewhere between 20 to 35 years old.
Wow.
They have
It's a big
exhumed.
range.
I'm sorry.
That's a big range.
It is a big range. They've exhumed her body twice. They actually went ahead and buried her. She has a headstone of an unknown person. It really shook the community. Like everybody feels like they have some ownership, that was there at the
Sure.
time. This was a really, really painful and shocking and sad experience. So she was found on July 26th. They figured that her body had been there anywhere from 10 days to 3 weeks
Mm.
when she was found. They didn't bury her until about September, and over the years, she's been exhumed twice
Wow.
for more DNA testing and stuff because they really have tried hard to figure out who this person is, but to absolutely no avail. But over the years, they've done a whole bunch of different face reconstructions, trying to figure out who what she looks like. And
Mhm.
so we've got pictures of those. Yeah. So one of them was actually done out of clay, and then there's several drawings. Some of them is computer enhanced. As technology has grown, so has law enforcement's ability to reconstruct a face, and that this is
Sure.
evidence of that. Now in 2010, they used DNA formatting to reconstruct her face yet again, and that is
Mhm.
the most recent look at her face is this one with green
Mhm.
eyes, and she's got pale skin. She's redheaded. They believe this is really, the most accurate representation of her up to date.
Sure.
But in 2019, her case file was opened yet again to see if they can do genealogical DNA to really figure out who she is. Now, they are no closer to figuring out who killed her than they are in figuring out who she is. But there have been some theories over the years. So I'm going to share some theories with you.
Okay.
Interestingly, too, years after she was found, an author came forward and said that she actually found her body first. An author named Sandra Lee said that
Mm.
she found the body first as a child, but it scared her so much that she never spoke of it
Oh,
until many
wow.
years later. So totally unsubstantiated. There are just some weird things that are said about this case, so that's why I'm sharing that with you because there's more.
Mhm.
People are really interested in this case in a kind of a strange way.
Mhm.
Uh, okay, so let me get to some of the. So there was a woman who came forward who really believed that this was their sister, and she was from Maryland, and she was absolutely certain this was her sister who moved to Boston and vanished. And the police decided that lead was inconclusive, and that's as far as they got on that one. I still think that one's kind of compelling, to be honest.
They didn't do any kind of they haven't at any point done DNA?
On that one, I don't know. They did on the next one. The next theory was that she's actually Rory Jean Kessinger, who was a known drug dealer and bank robber. Apparently, Kessinger did resemble the victim and had
Mhm.
escaped from the Plymouth County Correctional Facility in Massachusetts the year before and had not been found. So they went as far as a DNA test with Kessinger's mother, and it did not match.
Yeah.
So then in 2015, author Joe Hill, who I don't know if you know this, but he is the son of Stephen King,
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
insists that she was an extra in the movie Jaws.
Oh, I've seen something about this.
That she was
Yes.
in one of the background scenes. So
Yes.
her head was resting on a pair of folded up blue jeans and a
Mhm.
blue bandana. And there actually is an extra in the background of Jaws wearing blue jeans and a blue bandana.
Mhm.
It's there's nothing to say it really was her, but it's not completely implausible. Jaws was formed in Martha's Vineyard, which is only a few hours away from where the body was found, uh, and not very long before the body was found.
Right.
So Jaws didn't come out until 1975, but it was filmed before this woman's body was found. But the Jaws
Right.
producers did not have names of any of the extras.
I've heard that before because there are other people who have been extras. There have been other sort of mysterious things about the extras in Jaws. And I've actually heard this theory from Joe Hill. I think I saw it in maybe on Reddit or somewhere, a true crime something. I didn't
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I know anything about this case, but I remember reading about that theory that he was sure that
Mm-hmm.
she was in that film. And there's a few other weird things about the extras in Jaws, and because they paid them each $50 or something like that.
Right, in
They were
cash.
just in the
Yeah.
movie, boom, done, and
Uh-huh.
so there's no proof of who any of them actually were.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's really
Yeah.
weird because yeah, I do know
Mm-hmm.
about that theory.
Now we're gonna have
Interesting.
to go back and rewatch Jaws. You know.
I know, as you know, Jaws is one of my most favorite movies of all time.
I know. I know. I knew you'd be interested in that.
I'm weirdly terrified of sharks, but I love shark movies. So
Well, go back and watch and come back and report
I will. I've actually
because
seen a
I'm going to say
still from the
something.
movie
Okay, go
that
ahead.
shows maybe this person.
Oh, interesting. If it is this person, yeah,
Yeah, it.
interesting. So I'm going to say something unpopular. I didn't like Jaws. I think it's really boring and not fun to watch.
Wow.
I know.
Boring. Whatever.
Uncool. Uncool.
Very
Well,
uncool. Yeah.
there you go, though. There's one of the theories. Okay. So in 1987, a Canadian woman came forward and said that she believed that she had witnessed her father strangle this woman while visiting Provincetown in the 70s. Just out of the blue.
But
So,
no further information beyond that?
well, the problem is she wasn't strangled. She was killed
Yeah, she was.
actually by blunt force trauma to the head
Yeah.
and then other things. She was also sexually assaulted post mortem with an object.
Uh,
But it didn't quite match, but they did pass that information on, the Canadian authorities did, to the Massachusetts police. By the time they tried to reach out to her, she had moved away and they were unable to get a hold of her. But they didn't really feel like her story matched anyway. It
no,
was
I'm not feeling that one at all.
odd, yeah. However, who did she see her dad strangle?
Right? Did she
Like,
actually see her dad strangle someone else?
right, like what in the actual hell is that about? That's an
Yeah.
odd childhood memory to just suddenly conjure up, you know?
She
Yeah,
probably has lived with it all of her life and finally felt like she had to tell somebody.
I would imagine. Yeah. Okay, then for some reason, some people believe that she was murdered by James Whitey Bulger.
Oh, really?
Whitey Bulger, who did time in Alcatraz. I almost said
Right.
Azkaban.
Well, pretty much the same thing. I have a
Right?
real hair
Yeah.
headset situation going on here. I think I fixed it. Um,
Apparently,
Alcatraz or
yeah.
Azkaban.
Well, some witnesses had said that they saw him with a woman around the Cape Cod area that looked somewhat like this one.
Mm.
So some people believe that this was someone who was consorting with him and that he killed her. He also removed the teeth of one of his victims to prevent them from being identified. So some of it fits, but he
But
was
her teeth
never
weren't removed,
actually.
they were, like, knocked out, right?
I think some of hers were removed. It's an interesting thing though, because some of them remained and she had gold capped teeth that remained in her head. So maybe
Mhm,
they were just knocked out. The articles that
mhm.
I read have all said that she had teeth removed, but
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
I don't think so. I think they were knocked out. I don't think they were actually, like, pulled one at a time or something. They were knocked out.
Yeah. Okay. And then in 2000, there was a murderer already in prison named Haddon Clark, and he confessed to killing the Lady of the Dunes. Unfortunately, though, Clark was a paranoid schizophrenic that said a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And
No,
they
I
had no
agree.
evidence that he actually committed the crime, so they just don't really know.
He didn't.
So at this point, they don't know still. But they're still really trying. Like I said, in 2019, they decided to try and go back. They're using the same method that was used to identify the Golden State Killer. And
Hmm.
so, which we've talked about a lot here on this channel with familial
Right.
DNA. So it's still possible that they will get a lead on her if she has familial DNA in the system. So figuring out who she is huge, but figuring out who killed her would be equally huge, and that seems to be further away from figuring out her identity because they really have
Right.
nothing, nothing to help them identify the killer. However, were they able to identify her, maybe people who knew her could shed some light on that.
Yeah.
So we're
And
going to take a
some
quick
something.
break. When we return, Kristi, I am going to ask you if you will give us a cold read on this case and tell
Sure.
us give us an idea of who you think this girl is and what happened to her.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Hey there. I'm Kristi Brower from True Crime Paranormal. You know me from our podcast. But what you may not know about me is that I am a professional psychic and healer. I've been doing this work professionally for 15 years and, more like 25 when it comes to working on myself. So, as a reader, I'm very straightforward. I will always tell you the truth of what I see. I don't sugarcoat things. I want you to hear the truth and have all of the information that you need to make the best choices moving forward. As a master healer, I am a teacher and an energy healer, an aura reader. I've had thousands of clients over the years in energy healing. I can heal all kinds of issues for you on the energy plane. And of course, that's only part of what needs healing generally in a situation, but healing on the energy plane is super important. It's the subtle things that keep problems hanging around, that keep old relationships from being able to be released for good, that keep, painful things still stuck inside of you in some way or the other. So I love working with that kind of energy. So I do take private clients. The easiest way to come see me is just go to truecrimeparanormalpodcast.com. About halfway down the page, you'll see where it says Get a Reading with Kristi, and you can click a link. That'll take you right to the place where you can schedule with me. So I don't work a hotline anymore. I just take clients direct, and that's the way I really like to do it. My preferred way to read is over the phone, but I can do a video call if you ask for that when you schedule your appointment. But I really look forward to working with you. Reading people's energy bodies and working with you in your life is really just an honor for me. I appreciate the opportunity and the trust that you give me. So if you'd like to connect with me, go to truecrimeparanormalpodcast.com and you'll see right there where to schedule with me. I look forward to getting to know you.
And we're back. So, welcome back to True Crime Paranormal with the Psychic Sisters. This is Katie Weaver, and we are talking today about the Lady of the Dunes, 47-year-old murder that has yet to be solved, a victim that's yet to be identified, and I've laid out the evidence to Kristi and some of the theories around the case, and now I'm going to get out of her way and let her give us a reading on this case.
Sure. I honestly don't feel that any of the theories are correct. I don't feel that any of those potentials are actually her. I just feel like she, has some similarity to other women. And I think also, if someone's missing someone in their life or, have a secret to keep, then they can kind of make the connection psychologically. But I don't feel that any of those are right. Her name starts with an A. It's Angela, Angel, Angelina, something like that. She was not from Massachusetts. I don't think she was even from the US. I feel like she came from Europe, that she was a tourist visiting, and that it was a stranger rape and assault, and that nobody knew who she was because she literally wasn't even from the US to begin with. I do feel that she is European. And I mean, that's saying a lot. I mean, I think she's Scottish or Irish, somewhere in there, and that she was visiting the US and visiting those beaches there, and that there was a predator in the area who targeted her and murdered her and sexually assaulted her and left her on the beach. But she didn't really have any connection to anyone in that community because she wasn't from there at all.
Okay. The killer.
I do feel that he obviously male, didn't seem to be terribly obvious, but anyway, I do feel that he was active kind of in that area through that time. I do feel that he did commit other assaults and other murders and rapes. I actually feel like he went to prison for something else and is in prison now. That he is not someone, I don't feel like he'll ever be caught for this particular case, but I do feel that he was caught for another case and that he's in prison for the rest of his life.
Okay.
I don't have a name or anything like that on him. I don't often get names, and so I was pretty impressed when I got a name on her. But definitely there's a first name there of Angela or Angel or Angelina, something like that is her first name.
Okay. Well, thank you. Well, you confirmed for me exactly what I believed as well. I feel like she's not from the US.
No. Which makes it super hard because there's just no connection. How could anyone even make a connection? She's literally an international tourist.
Yeah.
In the 70s when.
Yeah. The paper trail wasn't that great.
No.
Communication wasn't that great. And yeah. Yep.
I hate to burst Joe Hill's bubble, but I don't feel like she was actually in Jaws. Somebody that looked similar to her was, but it wasn't her.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, much love to her family wherever they are, as well as to Cape Cod, because they have honored her all of these years. And their police force there's been 4 different chiefs that have worked this case now, and they're still working this case.
Well, and I think that's wonderful because cases like this often just completely disappear.
Yeah.
But how a case can kind of captivate a community. We're involved in one right now in our community, and I understand it.
For sure.
Well, nobody wants their community to be a place where people come to get killed.
No, for sure.
But I feel like if we did a little research in like murder, rape situations in which someone went to prison in that area, I feel like we would probably find the person who assaulted her.
Okay.
Well, and her poor family. I mean, she was traveling abroad.
Yeah.
And
she just never came home.
She just never came home.
I feel like it was an extended trip, that she had been in the States for a bit and was expected to be in the States for a bit, and that they didn't really know when to expect her home. And then she just never did come home.
Yeah. And for them, they don't even know for sure. Is she alive?
Right.
Did she just decide to stay and cut everyone out?
Yeah.
And we live in such a different world now. That wouldn't happen, because of cell phones and, all of the documentation to travel in and out of the US. And, there's just so much that would track somebody down now. But in 1974,
right.
No, wouldn't have.
No, you could lose touch. And if you chose to lose touch, you could really lose touch.
Right. But even if you didn't mean to, like in a situation like this.
Yeah. It could certainly happen.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you for that. So there it is. That is the Lady of the Dunes. I believe this was a listener suggestion, so thank you so much for that. If you want
Yeah.
to suggest a case, head over to truecrimeparanormalpodcast.com and scroll down. You'll find a spot to suggest a case. You'll also find ways to get readings from both of us. You'll find our merch store. You'll find our Patreon. Lots of ways to support us and get involved, and we love it when you do. But
Yeah.
also for
We sure do.
tonight, please like, share, comment. It does a lot for us, and we appreciate you so much for that.
Yeah, and
And if
subscribe. Please be sure to subscribe if you are with us on YouTube or on Spotify or Apple or wherever you are, subscribe. That
yes,
means a lot for us.
it does, and it'll connect you with all of the work we're doing over here at True Crime
Yes.
Paranormal. Speaking of that, we will be back this evening at 7 p.m. Mountain for case updates, and boy, do we have some.
Hmm.
Needless to say, Mark Bean seems to think he is a psychiatrist. Also, or maybe just a good
Well,
old
he's not
MD.
much of an attorney, so
We'll tell you why. And
mhm.
then tomorrow night, we'll be back Thursday night. Or, sorry, we will be back on Thursday night with the Psychic Hour at 7 p.m. So
Yeah,
lots more to come this week. And then watch for some pop ups this weekend per normal. So
for
thanks so
sure.
much for being here, you guys. Have a wonderful day. Happy Wednesday. Take care. You've been listening to True Crime Paranormal with the Psychic Sisters.